Is everybody recording at this point?
Yep.
All
No, you are wrong. Yes, I'm recording.
Well, then
But
let's
Lucas didn't know that, so he shouldn't have answered for me.
How dare you? Oh no! Hold on, might have to click on this Brettelfoss link. No, we'll do that afterwards.
After the show. After the show. We don't have time to watch a 5-minute video right now.
Everybody, let's sync up in 3, 2, 1. The fancy bearded Justin, what is your time at?
153.
Okay, wait,
God,
hold on. The fleet-footed Lucas, where are you at time-wise?
The world is like conspiring against my brain today. I think I was about 220.
Okay.
I wish I
Justin is
was
at
220.
So, Justin, I
to
tell
play a
you
little
about
Ring
your
Fit.
beard because one schnazzy one says beard is looking good, Justin, in the Twitch chat.
I have done nothing to it in like a week and a half. I am so scruffy and scraggly. I mean, other than washing it, obviously, but
We'll take it. Let me just make sure real quick that the stream is going to Twitch and YouTube as intended. And YouTube.
Funny story.
I hear us on Twitch. That's great. Let's go to YouTube. Sorry, go
when
ahead,
I was
Justin.
when I was playing Red Dead Redemption 2 and decided I was going to grow a mustache, I decided Arthur would too. So for the entire like last 3 acts of the game, Arthur had a nice curly handlebar mustache and
When I was playing
and a beard.
When I was playing Red Dead Redemption, or not Red Dead Redemption, when I was playing Grand Theft Auto 5, I decided that Michael was going to go all Breaking Bad, so I gave him a goatee and shaved his head bald, and it worked very well for him. So.
Which is funny because I did the same thing for Trevor, only I had him like the mullet, like he was bald on top but had a mullet.
Next on the Rockstar podcast, Grand Theft Auto 6, myth or actual leak? Stay tuned.
Oh shit, my coffee's over there.
It's not going to YouTube right now, so I'll have to figure that out later on, and I'll just download the Twitch Twitch video after like 10 hours because it's like 5 gigs. All right, well, are we ready to get rocking and rolling at least with the beginning part?
Let's do it.
Cool. Oh shit! Hold on, we don't have a Steve, so let me open up Patreon.
That's right. Our Slippy is missing, so we don't have any of the boss's info.
That's good. Okay, relationship manager.
God, if Star Fox 64, the N64 emulator needs to come out on Switch next year because I really want to play Mario 64 again, and I really want to play Star Fox 64 like really badly. So
Right?
I mean, I have both of those on my Wii U. It's just not portable.
I have both of those on my Wii U as well, which is back at my house, not here. So like, yeah.
Okay, I've got the
Emergency.
I got everything
Emergency.
ready. Let me just make
Emergency.
sure
Emergency.
that's recording.
Incoming enemy fighters.
And
Prepare
it is.
for launch.
Oh, it's
Okay,
gonna
now
be a fun show, Eugene.
everybody shut up. We're about to start the fucking show. Let's go. In
Good luck.
3, 2, fuck you. In 3, 2, 1, let's go.
You can't buy much for $1 a month, but you can buy a shout-out on Infendo Radio. Head on over to patreon.com/Infendo Radio, and for $1 a month, we'll read your name out loud.
Creating overwhelming urges to buy Nintendo crap since 2005. Infendo Radio is on now.
Hello, we're here. It's Infendo Radio night, and it's a good night to do a podcast. I have all my fine podcast hosts with, well, I guess we're -1, but I have 2 of my fine podcast hosts with me tonight. How are you doing tonight, Justin? I'm so
I'm doing
confused
good.
by the labels. If you're not watching this live, this could get confusing, and I apologize.
Oh, well, what'd you all do to me? Oh, for the love of... Anyway, so yeah, funny story. I actually taught myself how to play this on piano when I was... Ooh, you got the nice mix version. Sweet. All right, I'm just going to stay here and dance during Lucas's introduction. Y'all can go on without me.
Lucas, how are you doing tonight?
I mean, I was doing okay, and then we started doing the show, and now I'm starting to have some serious regrets.
Likewise. That's okay, though. We're here. We're ready to do a podcast. Before we get too deep into the weeds of the podcast, as it were, though, we want to thank all of our producers that brought this episode to you tonight. So we're going to start with 1-64. Thank you very much. Thank you, Phantom. Thank you, Slacker Monkey. Thank you, EP Knothead, who is our first executive producer. Thank you for Andrew Searson and Brianosaurus, who are our other two executive producers accordingly. So, okay, we're going to take a little break here, and we'll be right back on the other side with Change the System. Hello, Twitch. We're back.
Hi. Didn't notice you there.
We are
I
back.
actually didn't. Where are we?
It's time to get the second part of the show going. I actually like this version of the music, so we're gonna go with that for the second part. Okay. Yeah, it's so great.
Can we get the like the music that plays while you're doodling too? Because those are good ones.
We'll probably end up going through this whole soundtrack. It's pretty short, so I imagine we will. Okay, well then, if we don't really have any news, like just talk about what you want to talk about during your Change the System section, if there is anything, and yeah, we'll get started.
Guess what I'll be talking about.
Right. All right, let me just make sure that I've got that ready in my Audacity. Put a note here.
Ugh, the audacity.
Change. All right, let's do it.
163. Not too exciting.
We're gonna go with Steve. He's gonna talk about tier 2. Okay, let's do it.
For $5 a month, we can give you something better than the Lost Woods. We've got what we call the Hidden Feed. That gets you our all-access pass to everything we do behind the scenes and otherwise. Head over to patreon.com/Infendo Radio and pledge your $5 today.
All right, we're back. It is time for Change the System. I don't know that I have a whole lot of news this week. We were kind of talking pre-show, or I guess in the break rather, about like the Game Boy Micro that got announced, which is pretty cool.
Game Gear.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Very important distinction.
No, you're right.
Fake info.
You're very right. I guess that's a Freudian slip, right? Because I don't really care about it because it's not a Game Boy Micro type of thing, you know? But I don't know.
Hey, anything that makes the Game Gear actually pocket size, that is a good thing.
But this looks like almost unusable, though. Did you see it? It looks like it's like so tiny.
I mean,
I guess we're talking news.
Okay, why not? I have an actual Game Boy Micro, and it's roughly the same size, and it's perfectly usable. I don't know what they're going to do about the D-pad, because Sega D-pads are notoriously not great.
This is the perfect song for this conversation.
But anyway, like, as long as we're talking about it anyway, like, I had a Game Gear growing up. I had a Game Gear long before I had a Game Boy. I didn't get a Game Boy until the Pocket came out, which was like high school for me, or middle school, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I loved my Game Gear. There were some great games on the Game Gear. The hardware itself wasn't that fantastic. The screen was blurry, and the battery life was terrible, and the thing was about as pocket size as... I got nothing. I got no comparison. It wasn't pocket size. It was freaking huge. But you know, like, I'll take a look at what the games are on it, and whether the hackers have, you know, opened it up for more games on it, and if I can, you know,
that's actually a good point. Actually, okay.
Yeah, because there were some pretty good games on that Game Gear, and certainly ones that probably won't come with it. But yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on this. Yeah, I don't know. I'll keep an eye on this. See if there's a game list that comes out.
Fair enough. Well, okay. Well, I guess that's enough news, unless Lucas, you have any that you want to tack on. But otherwise, let's talk about the games that we've been playing.
Let's talk about the games we've been playing.
Okay, well, yes, I'm going to go first because I have to talk about Pokemon Go this week. I'm sorry, but I do. I am ashamed... Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I guess I do have a little bit of news. You just reminded me. The Pokemon Sword and Shield DLC comes out in exactly 2 weeks.
Oh, so, right.
For those of you who
still don't have Pokemon Sword and Shield, and I was waiting for the DLC to see if I was actually going to jump on it.
I've been waiting for the DLC to get me back into it, because I was like doing some like intense shiny hunting that like just like wore on me, and then I was like, okay, I need to put it down for a little bit. But now this DLC is going to definitely get me back. I know it.
Well, for those of you who are not listening to us live, the DLC is supposed to launch on the 17th of June. So get hype. They've announced all the different typings for the legendary birds this generation. They're not what you think. They've also, I think, shown off 2 new Regis, like Registeel, Regice,
Oh, I thought you meant Reggie Fils-Aimé. I'm like,
well, he's one of the 2 Regis, so. But yeah, no. So it should be interesting. And they finally announced Galarian Slowbro. He is a psychic poison type, and he wears a cloister on his arm like Samus, and he shoots.
That's great.
Yeah, so it should be pretty good.
Nice.
Anyway, back to Pokemon Go.
Back to Pokemon Go. So yeah, I would a little bit about Pokemon Go, because man, they got me to spend $8 today, and let me tell you why. There was this there's this event that just happened to start today. Actually, I think it goes for a week. I could be wrong about that, but it actually goes in line with like the Galarian forms of the Pokemon that are going to be released in Pokemon Go. So basically, you buy the pass, and then you get a whole bunch of extra like tasks type of thing, like in your special tasks to do. And yeah, I was a sucker, and I bought the freaking and I bought it, and yeah, I've been playing Pokemon Go while I've been working, but it's fun. Yeah, I can't say enough that Niantic has done a great job really making Pokemon Go accessible during this pandemic. Actually, I guess here's another news article. Last week, or maybe it wasn't last week, but in a single week, Niantic hit $23 million on Pokemon Go revenue. So, I mean, people are still spending money in Pokemon Go each and every day, each and every week. So good on Niantic for keeping it viable, so... But yeah, that's enough Pokemon Go. I don't know if you guys want to ask me any questions about some of the shinies I've been catching, because I'd be happy to answer them for you. But otherwise...
Eugene, what kind of shinies have you been catching?
Well, Lucas, there was a Sadat event last week, so I caught a crap, like, I'm not kidding, like 30 of them last weekend. And so that was awesome. And I did a little bit trading for some shinies that I didn't have using those ones. So yeah, it's fun, man. I just really love Pokemon Go. To put a cap on Pokemon Go, there was an update that was pushed to the game on the 1st of this month. So 2 days ago on June 1st. And it's speculated that what this update is going to do, because the game was actually down for several hours, a lot of people are speculating that Niantic is creating the connections between this and Pokemon Home. So I'm really excited to transfer, because that's really why I've been catching these Pokemon. I want to get them in Home so that I can, like, share them with, like, you and Steve and, the Infendo listeners, like...
Yeah, for sure, man.
So... anyways, that's Pokemon Go. I still love it. It's probably my game of the year again in 2020. So I'm such a I'm a jerk.
Weak-minded fool.
Yeah. Other than that, been playing actually Beat Saber because I'm getting fat, so I'm trying to lose some weight. And I figured what game better to do that than Beat Saber. So I booted that up a couple of times over the weekend and got my sweat on. That was fun. And then the final game that I've been playing a lot of, but not quite as much of lately, is Breath of the Wild, to just like still trudging along in that. I have a feeling that's going to be my game until Breath of the Wild 2 comes out.
You play Breath of the Wild like Justin plays Red Dead.
Right? Yeah,
Hey.
You're not wrong.
Okay, so I'm going to rewind it a bit because I didn't know we were going to jump off of Beat Saber so quickly. But I noticed something about Beat Saber because we got it in February and I live in upstate New York. So, had to play it in this, tiny house. And then when the weather started finally getting nice, I took because I've got a Quest, took it outside and played a little Beat Saber. And I realized that Beat Saber adjusts to the amount of play space you have. So whereas when I'm playing in the house, I'm usually either playing in stationary mode or in like a small square. When I play outside, I have a space of like 10-foot square.
Right.
And when you've got more space, the game adjusts and you get a hell of a workout. Like I was actually jumping back and forth to get some of the boxes playing it outdoors. And I wish we would get more good weather so I can do that more often. That and what's the other one? Super Hot is great when you have lots of play space because you can actually move instead of just ducking. But yeah, anyway, I might do a little Beat Saber after the show tonight, actually. Either that or I might finally boot up Ring Fit Adventure because I'm getting a little soggy around the midsection.
Ring Fit is probably really good for that too because I think there's a lot of core workouts in that one,
Is that all you've been playing?
That's all I've been playing.
Alrighty then, let's get to the main act. I've been playing a lot this week, which is funny because I've also been working a lot, but somehow I find the time. Beat Grand Theft Auto 5 a couple of days ago, finally.
First time or?
No, but my final play count came in at 75 hours, including the time I spent online. It's a long game. It's
okay,
a good
hold
game.
on. I have to ask, which console are you playing this? Is it PC that you're doing
PC.
this? Okay, cool.
Yep.
Cool.
Got to take advantage of that gaming laptop.
Right?
Yeah, no, it's a really fun game. Like I played it a few years ago with my dad, back when he first got it. I hadn't really played it since, but yeah, I love it. Really well written, really well developed characters. Obviously, you have a choice of endings, but if you're a normal human being, you choose the good ending because you want everybody to have a happy ending.
Right. I deliberated over that so long. I'm like, do I want the ending, the quote unquote good ending, or do I want an interesting ending with but I decided to go for the good ending.
It's just such a feel-good ending, and it's canon, so But the B ending is so unrealistic, where Franklin kills Michael. Like it doesn't feel like something that would happen. And in the A ending, where they kill Trevor, that one kind of makes sense, but it's so
that one
sad.
makes sense, yeah.
But it's so sad. Like even the instruction at the end, it's put down Trevor. Like it's just tragic.
If I'm not mistaken, it only gives you the option, and obviously we're in major spoiler territory if you haven't beaten it yet. But
if you haven't beaten it yet, it's your fault. Get over it.
If I'm not mistaken, it gives you the option to either kill Trevor or kill Michael, and doesn't tell you there's a third option unless you do something. Or...
Well, your three options are either kill Trevor, kill Michael, or death wish, which is like you're all gonna die kind of thing. But
which is what I totally expected to happen, honestly.
But you choose death wish because you're not a jerk, and the game ends positively. But hey, this game came out in 2013. Why am I talking about that when I could be talking about Redout, which is the F-Zero clone that I started playing last night?
Is that any good?
It's good. It's
been on my wish list for quite a while, but haven't been willing to commit to it.
If you thought F-Zero GX was just a little too easy, you'll really enjoy Redout.
That is a hard pass for me.
It gets difficult, but man, I really like it. I'm really impressed. So I would recommend it. It's on sale right now. It's usually $40. It's $20 on the eShop right now. So if you're looking for a good F-Zero clone, get that. I also picked up, but have not started playing yet, the first indie game that I can think of that I am genuinely excited for. Like I'm getting that.
Oh,
excited.
Is it out already?
Yeah,
oh,
excited.
No. I'm gonna have to
excited in the pit of my stomach feeling for this, which is Bug Fables, which is the new Paper Mario that, in my opinion, will end up being better than the new Paper Mario. The last thing I was on the fence about, as I'm sure a lot of you might have been, is the length. So I looked up some reviews. Not only does the game have a perfect 10 out of 10 on Steam, but people are saying on average it takes them about 25 hours to beat just the core story. With side quests and optional bosses and stuff, that time can go up to about 40 hours of game time. So this is not an indie game length game. This is a Paper Mario game. So I'm really excited to see how it is. But I know it's going to be like a weekend game for me. It's not something I want to start right after work on a Wednesday night.
Right.
I want to sit down and really dive into it. But I am child excited for this game. I've been wanting a game like this for so long, so I have high hopes and high expectations.
That's been on my radar for a little while. And I want to try it, but like you said, it's a game that's an investment, and I already have Paper Mario on my Wii U that I haven't even started yet. So if I'm going to dive into a Paper Mario game that isn't Origami King, it'll probably be the original, just because.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say Color Splash, and I was gonna be like, bro, skip that game.
No. I have the N64 game on Virtual Console, and I haven't booted it up yet because I'm like, it's like a 20-30 hour game, and I just don't have the 20-30 hours when I'm already spending 200 hours on Animal Crossing and 100 hours on Red Dead, and another 100 whatever hours on Grand Theft Auto,
Sure.
And here's the thing
200
about
on Breath of the Wild.
all of this conversation that I want you guys who are listening to us to know. I respect the fact that there are people out there, mostly young children, but people out there who either grew up or started playing Sticker Star and Color Splash and will play Origami King, and who really like those kinds of Paper Mario games. And
Jury's out on Origami King. It looks like it might be returning to the the good style.
I don't expect anything from it, but but you are allowed to like that game. It is just like this is a parallel to Breath of the Wild for me, you know. There's a game that I don't like that you do like, and it's fine that you like it. But for me, the Paper Mario series has kind of tapered off and lost itself after Super Paper Mario, which is why I'm really excited to see how close this indie game gets to recreating that experience. But again, like when I say that they're bad and I say that they're crap or whatever, I'm being hyperbolic. Like, just know that, because you know you're allowed to like what you like. I played Sticker Star. I thought it was pretty average, pretty mediocre. But
let's just say, like, even if a game is objectively bad, which is a thing, you're still allowed to like it. Like,
exactly.
Like
and these
objectively bad games.
And these games are not objectively bad. These games have gotten 7 out of 10s across the board. They're well made, but they're not what I want from this series, you know. Right. And that has shaped my. I mean, we're all victims of our own experiences, right? And my experience of Paper Mario is going to be very different than somebody who grew up with Sticker Star, right? So, you know, where one person sees a problem, another person doesn't. And that's just how gaming is. So if at any point during the Origami King discussion that's sure to follow in the next few weeks, we offend you, I am sorry. You know, I don't mean to. It's just my hot take on this. And, you know, someday you'll have a podcast and you can have a hot take.
As far as Origami King is concerned, it looks like a step in the right direction. I'm going to wait for reviews and then possibly wait for a sale.
Yeah, but I'm just seeing all the same warning signs, you know, from like the stuff I've seen in the footage and everything. It looks like it's playing it safe again, and it looks like it's doing that kind of like dumbed down formula of let's appeal to the widest audience possible, which totally, you know, has been the Sticker Star formula and beyond. But you know, in their defense, Color Splash was considered an improvement over Sticker Star. I'm sure Origami King will be considered an improvement over Color Splash, but I still see them as being part of the same universe where the paper is more important than the Mario, you know? Whereas with the first 3 games, I think...
And the Mario is more important than an original story. And that's kind of the thing that turned me off is that, you know, the elimination of all the colorful, unique characters.
Yeah, they had built up a world with 1,000 Year Door and Super Paper Mario specifically, and a little bit the original, that they then kind of abandoned for the sake of incorporating traditional Mario elements in Sticker Star and beyond. But anyway, we're speculating about a game that's not even out yet. When one of us picks it up at some point, somebody can talk about it.
I'm honestly, sure one of us will end up picking it up out of the 4 of us.
Oh, I'm sure it won't be long. But yeah, that's kind of that. I haven't really been playing that much else. In fact, I can't really think of anything else I've been playing that's all that important. I know if Steve were here tonight, he'd be talking about Minecraft Dungeons, which he's been playing. Very much tempting me to give that game a try. Looks like cute Diablo, but we'll see where the dice land on that. But yeah, that's my life.
So in the 4 or 5 minutes while you were talking about that, I bought Bug Fables.
Nice. See, I've already got it downloaded and ready to go, man. So I'll probably be starting it this weekend.
Much is it? Oh, it's $25.
$25, yeah. I had 1,000 gold coins, so it kind of
$15.
1,000. Yeah. That's cute. I've got like 6,000.
That feels like a symptom of a bigger problem, but that's not what we're here to discuss.
Well, you know, this is the type of thing I save them for. When there's a game that I'm not quite ready to throw my money at, but I want anyway.
I feel like, to a bigger degree, I realize we have to move on here, but I feel like to a weird like angle, in the last year or so, I have really come to understand that a lot of the devs that used to work at Nintendo that I grew up idolizing have moved on and passed the torch to a younger generation of devs. Probably Justin's age, about like a generation before me kind of thing. And just in general, I mean, they still make some good games, but in general, they're missing something that I look for in games. And I'm kind of starting to realize that there might be some indies out there like Red Out and Bug Fables. Jury's still out. I still have to play Bug Fables, but I might be able to get some of those game design vibes that I'm looking for from an indie company or a smaller company that's not Nintendo. I think for the first time in my life, I'm about
to cry.
Yeah, for the first time in my life, I kind of came to this realization a few weeks ago. I'm not a diehard Nintendo fanboy. Like, I will still own Nintendo systems. Nintendo's got all the games I want, but they've lost a step for me. And I think it's kind of up to our generation, as it were, to kind of carry the torch of what, in my opinion, the real, like, smart devs, the good guys from my childhood, were really good at. And I'm hoping that, in the next 10 years, we make some really cool games and we kind of bring back the fun. But again, it's all subjective, right? I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who love everything Nintendo's been doing, but I don't really have a game on the Switch that I can say, this is, hands down, this is the game you got to own kind of thing. Like Pokemon Sword and Shield is probably the closest thing to that, but nothing.
No, I totally feel that, and I know you said we got to move on, but one more quick anecdote, and then I'll toss it over to Justin so we can listen to the games he's been playing. I kind of felt that way about Nintendo in the Wii era. I think I might have talked about that on the podcast before.
I could see it. That was a big transitional period. I was still young enough, I think, to absorb it. But
sure.
But yeah, no, I can understand that, because like I was still in high school. I was in high school when Smash came out. I graduated high school in 2009.
Right.
So I lived during the Wii era very much. But yeah, I could see that because it was a big change.
Yeah,
and I said this, I think, in our Discord, that I feel like certain members of Nintendo's game design staff, calling him out, Miyamoto, the king of video games, is kind of being that stick in the mud, who's like, nope, this is the way I've always made games. This is the way you're gonna make games. This is the way Nintendo makes games, and makes games. And it's all right, well, and that's great for your games, Miyamoto, but let other people make their games their way, because that's how you end up with Splatoon.
And I have to defend my hero a little bit here, because I've been doing a lot of research on Paper Mario for a video I want to come out with on my own channel. And he was the one that kind of killed Sticker Star by telling the devs that they needed to stick to tradition instead of branching out. They needed to, but at the same time telling them they needed to try different things, because Sticker Star originally felt too much like the Thousand-Year Door. But by that same standard, the Sticker Star team was almost entirely populated with new developers who had like never worked on a professional title before.
And that's another thing we gotta consider is
the blame lies definitely a little bit with Miyamoto on that, but I can't. I mean, he's my idol, and even if that means that I'm a little blind to it, like I love the guy too much to throw all the shade at him. I think part of it is just that there's new blood in Nintendo, and
that's like
we're all stuff.
Everybody's all excited. Oh, Retro Studios is back making Metroid Prime 4, but none of the people who worked on Metroid Prime, 1, 2, and 3 are there.
Well, it's kind of like Rare, the name
you're
Rare
has a label on it. Yeah.
Rare has no meaning anymore, because everyone that worked at Rare is now either retired or
at Playtonic.
Playtonic.
Or whatever Free Radical became, or whatever. Yeah, there was like a third studio, I think, that sprung up out of there. But like we're, let's face it, we're old. We're still living in the Luke Skywalker, maybe in Lucas's case, Anakin Skywalker generation, and gaming is in the Rey and Finn generation. We're
going generational in Star Wars terms. So
it's okay, Eugene. You're in the Anakin one with me. Don't worry.
Well, I definitely am, because the remasters came out when I was a kid, type of thing. That's what I remember in the theater. But to put a pin on this.
I derailed this. I'm sorry.
To put a pin on this, because I have one final thought on this.
Boy, this really changed into a philosophical thing. Go ahead.
Well, the one good thing, the one positive, I guess, I see out of this, your, I guess, negativity, as it were, towards Nintendo has seen maybe a positive increase towards indies, you don't seem to have that same stigma finding these two games type of deal,
Well, and
see these these peaks and valleys in a lot of industries. Like, the 80s were very much about the manufactured studio music, and then the 90s we saw an increase in indie bands getting popular, which led to the boy bands and the pop music coming back in the 2000s. Now we're starting to see indies come back. Like every entertainment medium seems to go through this, where like an indie will come up with some brilliant ideas, and then the corporations will latch onto it and drive it into the ground, so the indies have to reinvent it.
Well, let me address your point real quick, Eugene, and then we got to go to commercial.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, I've never been a big indie guy, and I've always felt like the indie games just don't bring to the table the same quality that I've expected from a Nintendo type company. Like Nintendo delivers quality, and I respect game developers that bring that same level of quality. But I also know that deep in my deepest, darkest heart, there is a jealousy that lies there, because all of this time I would watch people making the kind of content that I wanted to be making. Now, I don't know if my game is going to turn out good or not. God, I hope it will. It's a passion project and I really care about it. But I've been working so hard on my game this last year that I'm more self-assured, as it were, I guess. And I've come to see these people more as peers than as rivals, So that kind of pettiness about indie games has kind of dissolved a little bit for me, to the point where this Bug Fables game is the first indie game that, like I said, I'm physically excited for. Like, I have a knot in my stomach when I think about playing this game because I'm so excited to play this game. And that's a feeling that I rarely get for indie game. So I'm excited to see how it goes, and maybe this is a little personal growth for me, and maybe I'll finally be able to.
Yeah, we'll see, right?
Positive, Well, I think my generation is finally kind of coming into the spotlight, right? So the 30-something-year-olds have had their turn, and they've defined indie games for a while, and now it's time for the 20-somethings to get out there and become professional developers. And this is my generation. I want to be a part of that generation of game developers. So maybe I'm just embracing my culture, But
yeah. All right, Justin, you're up. Let's talk about the games you've been playing, because like Lucas said, it's almost time for a commercial break.
Right. Well, I want to talk about the physical excitements that are causing my personal growth. Actually, it's nothing new, so mine should be pretty quick, because, I transitioned from Red Dead Redemption 2 into Red Dead Redemption 1, and the transition is not as smooth as I thought it would be.
I was going to ask.
So here's the thing. I still stand by that games of last generation are every bit as good now as they were then. Games look prettier, and there's certainly more you can do with them, but as a whole, gaming, corporate gaming, is to make the distinction now that we have, kind of reached its apex around 2005 to 2010, in that realm where this is what games are, and they haven't changed a whole lot other than incrementally. So Red Dead Redemption 1 is very much in that same realm, but you can see the jank. When you play Red Dead Redemption 2, it looks like a movie with live actors, to the greatest extent a video game can.
It looks like what you thought Red Dead Redemption looked like 5 years ago in your mind.
Well, and here's the thing that really obviously the graphical fidelity isn't quite there, the lighting isn't quite as realistic, the textures aren't quite as detailed, and I was expecting that. But what really caught me off guard was how janky the animations are. Now, when you're in a cutscene, it's all mocapped, so everything looks just as good as even the graphic fidelity isn't there, but the motions and facial animations, everything looks about as good as Red Dead Redemption 2. When you're in the actual gameplay, it's clear that they didn't mocap character animations. It's still got some of that, stiff, the stiff motion. When John Marston is running, you can tell this is a hand animated character, not a motion captured person. And there are certain things that I miss, like, I got used to every time I walked by somebody in Red Dead Redemption 2 holding the left trigger and hitting the button to say hello to everybody.
Yeah.
The first time I did that, I pointed a gun at somebody. I'm like, that is not what I wanted to do. So I have to relearn the control scheme.
Sure.
Story-wise, it's just as good as I remember, and I'm going to love playing through it again. I'm discovering things in the world that, like, I'll play. This is relaxing. I'll play about an hour and a half of Red Dead Redemption 1 and then think, all right, now that I've unlocked this area in Red Dead Redemption 2, I'm going to go back to it in Red Dead Redemption 2 and see what it looks like in that game.
Right.
So it's kind of got this fascinating, like, back and forth where I'm like, okay, I forgot that this place exists. I wonder what it looks like, in the other one. So Red Dead Redemption 1 and
Beat Saber, because we're fat.
Yeah, I got to play some Beat Saber, and Animal Crossing New Horizons are pretty much what's been on my menu. I don't know if I said this. I rolled credits on New Horizons sometime last week. So now I've got the terraforming. So I've been doing a little bit of remodeling. Is
that how you get that? I didn't know that was a thing until
you gotta do the KK concert and then it'll unlock.
Right.
Yeah, because sorry, Justin, real quick. I saw, like, just somebody's, like, I was scrolling through Facebook or something, and I saw somebody, like, posted a gif of, like, terraforming, and it's like, what is that? I want that for my island. That's gonna be what's gonna get me back into my island, so I guess I better start getting 5 stars or whatever.
Guys, I haven't
3
played...
stars, so it's not just get a lot of villagers and do a lot of decorating, and that should get you up to 3 stars pretty quickly.
I haven't played in, like, 4 weeks, and it makes me sad, but it's just, I want to go to New Leaf, like, when I play Animal Crossing again, it's going to be New Leaf, but God,
I do miss some of the after you pointed it out, I realized there were certain elements to New Leaf.
Sorry, it's what I do.
Yeah, there's certain things that I miss in New Horizons, but I'm still like, let me go check my hour count here, because I've already surpassed Breath of the Wild. I think I'm probably at about the 150 hour mark, maybe even more than that.
I'm a little upset because I've been waiting for this game. Like, this was my E3 prediction, like, every year since I started on Infendo. Like, I've been wanting this game for years, and it's here, and I put a lot of time into it, but unlike other Animal Crossings, it's become the kind of game that I played for a long time, and then it was just over,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's where I'm at with it, so I'm almost... I guess almost forcing myself to go back, but I think I am going to go back because I
have 190 hours in Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Sweetie, that's cute, but hang on.
I don't put 200 hours into video games,
Sweet.
And the only one I have is Breath of the Wild. So for me to break that record in a couple of months...
Sweet baby boy, I have 210 hours in Animal Crossing and 365 in Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Oh, I have no idea how many I have in New Leaf. It's probably twice that, but
I don't even want to ask what your Breath of the Wild count is because I know it's probably
actually mine? Justin's or mine?
Yours.
My Breath of the Wild count actually isn't that high. It's right around 360.
Oh, it took you that long to get... okay.
Oh, yeah. And I also played the game like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, if you combine my Wii U playthrough and my Switch playthrough, I'm probably around there.
I also have 40 hours on my Japanese account, so Breath of the Wild still shows up when I sort by playtime as the top game on that list. But I have to assume eventually either Smash Bros. Or Animal Crossing will eke it out if I can get back into Animal Crossing.
Sure. So, okay. Well, Justin, did you have any other games that you were dying to talk about, or you said that was pretty much it, right?
Yeah, that was pretty much it. Like, every time I decide I'm gonna play something new, I end up going back to those 2 standbys. I got a new pair of earphones that might make certain games more exciting, but I'll talk about that next week when I've had some more time with them.
Fair. All right. Well, then I guess that means we're going to take a little break. We'll be back on the other side with a mini game before answering your question block questions.
what are we waiting on?
Me, just to like pick my 3 tracks that I want. Hi Twitch, we're back.
Hi Twitch, but you're gonna have a little. This is bonus time that won't be on the episode because Eugene was very lazy. He was a very lazy young man, and he didn't prepare for that. So shame him. Everybody in the chat, write shame in the chat.
Shame.
Write shame.
And shake your bell at me.
Yeah. For every shame that we get in the track, Eugene will have to find another song to. Never want this show to end. Shame him. Shame him now, boys and girls.
Oh my god, I just found a video of Toad singing Into the Unknown from Frozen 2. I'll have to save that for later.
Gotta get that. Can't skip that.
Okay, that works. Oh my god. So I'm gonna pick 2, like one from Justin's era, one from Lucas's era, and one is gonna be a wild card, which I'm not sure who's gonna get. So get ready for this.
Well done.
We'll go with this one. Sorry guys, I'm like another minute or 2 out.
It's all good.
I hope you've played this game, Justin, but I know it's for sure in your era. So
Gene's just completely ignoring you.
I hear you, but I'm distracted.
I heard the noises. I was just assumed that somebody was dying. I don't know.
It's me. I am dying listening to Toad singing Into the Unknown, and it is exactly what I didn't know I needed today.
God, descend upon this podcast with a fiery vengeance.
Oh, I'm sharing this in the Discord.
Okay, one more track, and then we're cherry. Cherry on top is ready, my friends.
Cherry, baby.
Every
time I hear that, I think of the 70s level in Time Splitters.
Sorry, say that again?
Every time I hear Cherry, I think of the 70s level in Time Splitters with Harry Tipper.
Yep.
There was this one part where you like take down a couple of guards and he's like, "That's Cherry, baby."
I remember because it's so corny that it sticks out like a thumb. Yeah.
Oh, dude, that game, like, give me a way to play that game.
It's all cheese.
And I
love it.
I need a trilogy on Switch.
But it's self-aware. Right? But it's self-aware cheese, and that's what makes it so good, right?
Like a good Gouda or something.
Time to split. It's like it's so good.
Awesome soundtrack too.
Oh, fantastic game all around.
All right, I'm ready. So let me put a note in my Audacity.
I'm ready.
I don't know that we have any question block questions, actually. Let me take a look.
All right,
at that
Discordians,
first.
if you want us to answer a question, you have to ask it. So
actually, Twitch chat, there's a couple of you in there. So if we'll take our first like 2 to 3 questions if you want to toss them in there.
We'll take some questions from the lower class Twitch viewers as opposed to our highbrow Discord listeners who are always prim and proper and educated. I think one of our questions last week was like, which video game character is your man crush?
Yeah, it was. All right, we're doing it. Let's go. Oh wait, I almost fucked up and played the wrong track. We got to go back to Mario Paint for the intro music.
Thank you for not turning off the broadcast while we did this.
I figured we might as well just let the fucking Twitch people...
Oh no, I was talking to our listeners.
Oh, whoa, well, yeah, please don't turn off the broadcast. We love you. Okay, we're going back to this one here. This looks like a nice long track. I liked this one, actually. I remember it. Gnat Attack. We're going back to Gnat Attack.
Oh god, this game used to give me so much anxiety as a kid. But the real one that freaked me out was the robot one. I used to be so afraid of saving and loading my... like, I was scared of that. And the Thomas the Tank Engine game on the Super Nintendo had music...
I never played that.
Had music that chilled me to my core as a young child.
Oh my god.
It still freaks me out when I hear that music.
Okay, I'm going to put that on next week's show.
I'll find the song for you that stresses me out. Like, yeah.
It did not spark joy.
Like, the name of the track should just be Lucas's Childhood Fear. Like, that's... yeah. Soundtrack to my worst moments. Go on.
Shit. All right, here we go. Nat Attack. We're fucking going. We love our producers over at Infendo, and now it's even easier and cheaper to become one. Head on over to patreon.com/InfendoRadio to become a producer today. All right, it is time to... we're going to play a little mini game actually first before we do our question block questions. So what we're going to do tonight, since I'm hosting, we're going to play some Nintendo tunes because I like to play Nintendo tunes. And I liked Lucas's theme last week of 3 real quick games. So I'm going to take that theme to Nintendo tunes, and we're going to do 3 lightning rounds for Nintendo tunes. So if this is your first time listening to a show with Nintendo tunes, what this is all about, I have 3 games. I have music for each one of those games, and these fine gentlemen are going to try and guess what games they are by only listening to the music. So with that, I'm going to pause this Mario Paint music, and I'm going to play our first track starting right now.
Mario 3.
Woo-hoo-hoo! That was Mario 3. Well done.
I knew I had
inhale before Eugene starts playing
minute
music.
to win it. Oh no, yeah, I usually go, oh, it's and I mentally told myself, don't do that. Don't use fillers.
All right, the first lightning round point has been awarded to Lucas. So well done. So this next one here, get ready. Take your breaths, get your mentally prepared mind ready, because I think this is going to be quick. Here we go.
Tetris.
Oh!
For Game Boy.
I heard both of you.
I'm willing to accept that Justin's been having some lag issues, and even though I heard myself first, I want this last round to be interesting.
Yeah, I was gonna say kind of something similar because I clearly heard you first, but like Justin's started like right in the middle
for like 2
yeah.
weeks.
So I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt on that one.
I mean, I'll be honest. I think I actually heard Lucas before me. So,
but for the sake of showmanship,
I'm gonna say we could take the tie on this one if you want. But
yeah,
no,
let's take the tie.
You won this round. We're going into the finals.
So this is how we're gonna.
I was the one who specified for Game Boy because this music was not in the NES version.
I don't know why I'm
how
obsessed.
I will justify this.
I don't know why I'm obsessed with Minute to Win It right now, but we got
I
a
don't even
minute
know what that is.
to win it. It was Guy Fieri's game show. Come on. Okay.
That
last
makes
round.
me less interested.
You need to watch it.
Yeah, Guy Franchetti is great. So we're gonna move on to our next track. I guess if we have a tie, that means that Lucas is technically at 2 and Justin is at 1. So it's only fitting that this track is worth 2 points.
I'm okay with that.
So let's get it. Get your buzzers ready. Here's our final track. Oh god, I accidentally went full screen.
Donkey
Kong Country 1.
Oh, that was so simultaneous. I could not.
I think we tied.
Yeah, that's a legit tie. Oh my god. Okay. I want to have one more tiebreaker if you guys don't mind because that was so fun. So, are we cool with that?
Why not?
Okay. I have a game in mind.
Steve is screaming at his computer right now.
Right? Okay, so this is going to be another quick one, so get your buzzers ready. This one is literally for all the marbles. Okay.
Marble Madness. Link to the Past.
Damn it.
Yeah!
Da 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 da.
I'll be honest, I don't know how I beat Lucas to that one because I was still in the middle of making my joke when the music started.
I heard it and I was like, I know what this is, but I don't remember. And then he said it and I was like, he got it.
Oh, that was great.
I don't know who won. I don't care. That was fun.
I guess I'm going to give it to Justin mainly for selfish reasons because I'm pretty sure Lucas has won most of the games this year, and that will put a.
Hey, if it'll prevent me from being the heel of Nintendo of the week, I'm okay.
You
with
are
it.
the heel.
I am the heel, man. I'm the guy who always wins that nobody cheers for. So.
Oh, that's funny. So, all right, great. So, we're going to move on to the question block. It looks like we have one question from Schnazzy One, and it might be a little bit of somewhat of a dig, but I'm going to ask it anyway. So, Schnazzy One asks, what would it take for Lucas to not be a Debbie Downer about everything?
Well, I'd like to think it would take a good game to come out that took some actual passion and control, but I don't know, maybe cocaine? No, I think that my criticisms that I address are justified. I'd like to think that the things that I've raised about games,
Totally.
Breath of the Wild, Animal Crossing, Paper Mario, they're justifiable criticisms. And I'd also like to think that that there's not to make this serious, because let's be real, but there's a danger in just quietly accepting whatever the majority of people think is good and settling for that, whether that's a serious issue or something as stupid as video games. And gaming is something that I'm very passionate about. It was my childhood hobby that evolved into a part-time career. Like it's important to me, and I hold games to a very thank you. I needed some background music. I hold games to a very
too heavy in here.
I hold games to a very high standard, and that's definitely a flaw of mine, but I also think it's kind of important. I think that there need to be some people who say that things that people like maybe aren't as good as they think they are, And I realize that, that's never been my intent. Like I even said it when we were talking about Paper Mario, It's never been my intent to drag you guys down and point out faults, but there's a part of me that feels very vindicated when you come back the next week and you say, boy, I didn't notice it until you pointed it out, but yeah, there are things missing in New Horizons that I really miss. Like, demand more,
Yeah,
demand
I
more
get
from your games. I loved Pikmin 3, but it was so short, Like, demand more if you really care about the game you're playing, and don't just settle for, what other people think is good. Be your own judge.
And I mean, I get that, because I'm the same way. I tend to lean on the positive side of most things, but I will never, I brought up Star Wars earlier, and as much as I am like a full-on hardcore Star Wars movie, let me distinguish there, Star Wars movie fan, never read most of the books.
Steve is the extended universe fan.
Yeah, I don't get deep into that stuff, but like even I can tell you everything that's wrong with all 9 movies. Well, all 9. I guess there are 11 of them, 12 of them now. But
sure.
But like I can. I can tell you everything that's wrong with them and still sit down and watch them and love them, because I think it's healthy to A, see the flaws in things, and B, still love those things in spite of their flaws. I mean, it's a good philosophy for life, honestly. But like like Breath of the Wild, like a lot of the things that Lucas has brought up, like I agree with those being shortcomings of the game.
They just weren't enough to deter you from enjoying the game.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, and that's the thing is like to Lucas, they're deal breakers,
fatal flaws. Yeah.
Right. For me, it's a minor inconvenience, but like I think we all agree that those things are there, and we all agree that the good things are there. It's just our personal preferences to, what's.
It was kind of like when Super Mario Odyssey came out, right? And I remember thinking to myself, finally a game that the 4 of us can all enjoy after this like year of Breath of the Wild and this rep that I've earned on the show as being the one who didn't enjoy it. And then Eugene comes out and he's like, I didn't really like it, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it!
Right? And so, actually, I was gonna bring up a similar point, but like that's actually even better anecdote. So, like, what I was gonna say is, you know, video games are very objective, right? Like, whether you like it or not, like, just like music, that's what I was gonna bring in. Like, I don't like country music, but I know hundreds of millions of people do, you know, and to each their own.
Those people are wrong.
Right?
See. And like a little fun fact, since the question was about me, I'll give you guys a little fun fact, and this is going to sound ridiculous because I think on Infendo I take a more of a kind of reviewer stance, right? And I'm looking at stuff more objectively than personally. So I'll have moments where I'll say, man, I just really like this game, even though it's bad. I really like this game. But there are games that I pick apart, and they're usually the games that are more successful because I see people swarming toward the positive. And I'm like, all right, but hold up, because like there's some negatives that no one's talking about, kind of stuff.
Sure.
But on the whole, whether it's movies or games or music, this is going to shock a lot of people who listen to the show regularly. I like most things. My favorite Star Wars movies are the prequel trilogy. I like most things.
I don't hate them either. You know,
when I'm not reviewing something, like I am a very positive person about whatever I'm ingesting. Like I've been playing Grand Theft Auto, right? And my computer hiccups while I'm playing it. There are moments where the game will lock up and freeze, but my brain puts those moments away and replays it as like a complete, cutscene with no interruptions. Like I very much enjoy most things that I experience. But when I'm on this show, and especially when I'm talking with the three of you, because, you guys are gamers and you enjoy most things that most gamers enjoy, I just find myself constantly in the role of having to point out, for better or worse, flaws that I see that aren't being
You put on
addressed.
like a critic's hat, right?
Well,
like
because I know that there are,
Yeah.
I assume that there are other people out there who have to be experiencing the same negative aspects of a game that I am. But there's no voice for that, and I understand this is very stupid. These are video games. It's not that important, but this is the subject of our podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, being able to kind of represent the people who feel the same way about a game that I do and say, hey, you're not crazy for disliking this game that the rest of the world loves. You're allowed to dislike it because of X, Y, and Z. Like, I think that's important. If one of our 2,000 daily listeners agrees with me, then hopefully I've shed a different opinion that one of our listeners can appreciate. So.
It reminds me of back in the mid 2000s, when Twilight Princess came out. I guess it was 2007, I think, when Twilight Princess came out, and I want to say it was Jeff Gerstmann who gave it like an 8 or something on GameSpot, and like the
people
internet,
were freaking
how can you
out? Yeah.
How can you give?
Yeah.
Like, or maybe it was either a 7.8 or an 8.3 or somewhere within that realm of this is a really good game but not perfect sort of thing.
That's how I feel about Twilight Princess.
Well, right, exactly. Like Twilight Princess was a flawed classic. I totally agree with him. But like the fact that he didn't say it was the greatest game ever, like people, like you need to, first of all, if you're going to rate things on a scale, and this is kind of building off of what Lucas, the whole discussion is about.
Dangerous to even start by building off of a scale, right?
Right.
Anything less than a 6 is garbage. And
Right. If you're going to rate something on a scale of 1 to 10, and you're only going to use 6 through 10, then why do you have the rest of, like, people tend to think of that like 1 through 10 review as like a grade, like a school grade, like anything.
And a 50 is failing.
Yeah,
but 5 is average. Most games should be 5s.
Which is why I like the way we do it with the 1 to 5, because for some reason people logic that out better.
It's a little bit easier to
Like, I think every rating should be positive, negative, neutral, and it's one of those three things, and
I know a lot of people do this, but when I rate a game, back when we used to write reviews, we haven't really done much on the site, and a lot of things to say. Thank you, Colt, producer, for keeping the site alive.
Yeah.
But when I used to do more reviews, I would try to list like the positives and the negatives, right? And I know there's a lot of other reviewers who do that, but really I think that's a number score is a good indicator of the general vibe that you're picking up from a game. But it's important to list what you liked and what you didn't, because I'll play a game like Super Paper Mario, and I really like that game, even though I have a lot of strong feelings about Paper Mario as a series. Like, that game has earned a rare exception in my opinion because of the incredible story and the unique gameplay. But those things aren't necessarily exclusive, right? Like, I really like this game because it has such a good, heartfelt message and story to it. But you could absolutely hate this game because it's not a traditional RPG Paper Mario game, and we're both entitled to our opinions, right? It is both in my opinion, a really well-written game and not a Paper Mario game in the traditional sense. And yeah, so I don't really know where I'm going with this. I guess I'm just rambling at this point, but yeah, opinions are very, very obtuse.
Right. Fair.
And as long as I continue to be on this show, I'm sure I will continue to drag the rest of you down with me by pointing out flaws in games. But apparently that was my purpose of being on this show in the first place. So I will say, I'm really optimistic about Bug Fables, and I'm really hoping that
you got me bought it, or you got me to buy it.
I'm hoping I don't have anything negative to say. The only thing I was afraid of was, is this game going to be an indie game in length? And the internet has told me no. So yeah, we'll see. But I think that game, might bring back a lot of what I've been missing from that series. So
sure. Well, all right. Well, good deal. To put a close to this topic, Justin, it was an 8.8, and yes, it was Jeff Gersman.
He got flamed for an 8.8.
Really? I could have sworn it was lower than that. Oh, you know what? I think it was an 8.3 originally,
and he bumped it
then,
up.
And then there was all sorts of controversy, and GameStop bumped it up.
Okay, I just have to say, an 8.3 is probably about what I would give a Twilight Princess.
Exactly.
It's a good game. It's an objectively good game, but I have a lot of flaws with it. From the fact that all of the bosses feel and the plot feels very mimic to Ocarina of Time, to the fact that every boss's weak point is an eyeball for the first 6 bosses.
Yeah. Well, I mean, come on, isn't your weak point your eyeball? If somebody jabbed you in the eye, wouldn't that cause...
It's one of a couple. But yeah, no, there are things about Twilight Princess that I don't like, and that's why it is probably one of my least favorite 3D Zelda games. But I still think it's a really good game. I just don't think it's a 10.0 kind of game, I don't think Skyward Sword is a 10.0 game, and that's my favorite 3D Zelda. I mean, what is perfect? Perfect is an impossible construct that we've made up for ourselves.
Entirely subjective.
So to expect a game on pedigree alone to receive a score of 10 is just it's ignorant,
Yeah. 10 years ago, I would have given Red Dead Redemption 1 a 10 out of 10. Playing it again now is more of a 9.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for a perfect example of how, I realize we're just rambling here. You can cut us off whenever. But for a perfect example of how a person's opinion can change over time, look at the movie Avatar, right?
Oh, boy, yeah.
Which, when that
came out, I was like, this is the best movie I've ever seen.
When it came out, it was everyone's favorite movie, and then a month later everybody started comparing it to Pocahontas, and then a year later nobody was talking about it, and now it's been 15 years and the joke is that they're working on a sequel, and there are people who still like it and there are people who think it's garbage, but at the moment we all thought it was the best thing, the new Titanic,
Yeah.
And people's opinions change, and a movie that looked really good in the mid 2000s now looks kind of cheesy compared to movies we're getting now because technology evolves, and but
my God, my family marathoned the Toy Story movies
the
recently.
First Toy Story,
and oh my God, it's like a PlayStation game.
The people look so bad. Yeah, but nostalgia is powerful, right? I prefer the model in Ocarina of Time that Link had in the N64 version to the model he has in the 3DS version. Not because it's more polished or anything.
That's what you were saying.
Because he's got that little cat smile and he's got the wide eyes. He looks like how I want Link to look. And in the new games, he looks so I was going to say
He looks more
whitewashed.
like-
That is not the right term. But
Originally, he looks a little bit more like a 3D version of a 2D sprite, which
Yeah,
is the same thing with Mario in Mario 64. Like
the modern interpretation sticks very close to the art that they were going for at the time, right? But those limitations, God, we're going all off topic here. I'm sorry. The limitations really do bring out the best in like an artist, and I appreciate that. But we're done. We've talked this to death. I'm a spoil sport, and I always will be. And you guys are stuck with me until they kick me off the show. So.
Fair. All right. Speaking of off the show, we're about to be done with this one. So thank you for sticking to the
God,
end.
I hated this.
I think we brought another good episode to the table. So hopefully you thought that as well. Before we get out of here, though, we're going to let you know where you can find us. One of our co-hosts is not with us, but make sure that you go to theinfendo.com and join Steve's Discord from there. I believe you can actually join up his from his Twitter and everything from there. So make sure you go to infendo.com to do that. Justin, where can the people find you and what you're doing?
You can find me on Twitter at InfendoJustin. You can also follow my Disney-related tweets at Utilidork, UTILIDORK, and check out utilidork.com because I'm still working on stuff for it. I've got an announcement coming up, hopefully in the next month or so, about it, and that's still a living, breathing thing. It's kind of on life support right now. Got hit hard by COVID, just got hooked up to all sorts of tubes, but I'm gonna bring it back to life, hopefully in a big way. So if you're into Disney parks, Disney World, follow Utilidork.
Good deal. Well, Lucas, what about you?
And I'm sorry about the COVID joke. That was in poor taste.
Where can the people find you?
Not the most inappropriate joke you could have made this week, but
sure.
Where can the people find me?
Where can the people find you?
Where can the people find me? That's a good question because where you can find me always seems to be changing. I used to always say that my Twitter @ChromaticQ was not a good place to go to find me. That has become the best place to find me because after an 8-hour game design session, the last thing I want to do is stream my progress on YouTube. So I've been posting to my Twitter little pictures and whatnot. Also been posting to my developers blog, which you can reach on chromaticq.com. So if you want to see the progress I've been making on the game, I pretty much pooped out World 2 in the last 2 weeks, and it's starting to look real good, in my opinion. So I'm
you
proud
showed
of
me
it.
that, and I like it.
Oh, dude, I spent like a full day just working on. There's this underwater cave area, and I have all these like stalagmites and stalactites, and I did all the lighting, so like it's brighter at the top and darker at the bottom. Like, I mean, I genuinely think I'm getting better at this as I work on it, which is cool. So go look at that and tell me I'm great. But yeah, that's all on chromaticq.com. I have a YouTube channel. I have written a script for a video where I continue to be a killjoy, and the topic of the video is how to fix the Paper Mario series. Something we've talked about a lot on this show. I've written it all out. It's just a matter of sitting down and recording it. That might come out next week. I'm not 100% sure, but you can follow me on my YouTube channel. Just search Lucas Peace, and I will be the one with the blue mustache and beard. Subscribe to that, and you'll get it when it comes out. And I'm sure I'll post it on infendo.com too, so you can look at it there. But that's that.
Good deal. Well, you can find me, this week in a voting booth because it was election week here in New Mexico. So I hope everybody is out there voting, being safe if you're actually physically getting out.
You got to vote by mail, man.
That's what I was going to say. I actually, absentee ballot.
We got our application for mail ballots this week, and we're considering it.
I think there are about, I want to say almost 40 states where you can vote by mail. So find out if you're one of them, and the deadline to register is coming up quick.
Yep, for the presidential election. Yeah,
you're gonna want to do it because this is more important, I think, than any other election we've ever had. You're going to want to vote, make your voice heard. There is a clearly better choice, and I'm not going to tell you what that is. You should know that by now. But but you're not going to want to go out there in November and vote. This virus is most likely still going to be around and infecting people, and you don't want to wait in a line with a bunch of other people for 8 to 10 hours to cast a vote. So register to vote by mail, save yourself the time, save yourself the pain, and be ready for November. And
Totally.
sorry for stealing all of your thunder.
That's all right. You hit it right on the head what I wanted to say, other than, which I kind of already touched on. Go to infendo.com if you want to follow me. You're going to want to make sure that you go to the community tab, join the Infendo Discord, join Steve's Discord, which I already mentioned. Follow all of us on Twitter, on our various channels, all that fun stuff. And yeah, let's make sure that we get out there and have a good week. I will say though that after the show, there'll be a little stinger added in. I'm gonna talk about here tonight the state of the world right now and kind of my thoughts on that. I feel like it's a little bit important to speak on that here tonight, use the platform accordingly. So if you're interested, stick around after the show. Otherwise, I will catch you guys all later on. I hope you all have a good week.
Stay inside!
Unless you're protesting, in which case, go out and be safe.
But please wear a mask, and it doesn't count if it's not over your nose. There's a lot of idiots who don't understand how masks work.
I have a buff. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's like a handkerchief that's like sewed together, kind of.
Oh, Eugene, you're looking very, what is the term? You're looking very tradable, right? You're looking very tradable today. Is that what I was going to tell you? Remember we found that Facebook group?
Oh my God. Oh yeah. Oh my God. No, please.
What are we?
Hold on. I'm going to turn off my camera so I can turn on my light.
So, we had a Facebook group recommended to us from the work.
Oh God, are we talking trade still? Oh Jesus.
Yeah. It was a gay hookup for a particular type of person that is a person, which is a muscular black man that embodies, and I'm quoting here, that embodies thug culture. So that is somebody who is, I don't know the exact terminology, but either a trade or a tradable person or something like that. I don't know the specifics, but so Eugene and I had a good
wrong on so many levels.
Eugene and I had a good laugh about it while we were voice chatting that day while I was on Facebook. So there are some amazing Facebook groups. I'm part of a Facebook group that
you sent me screenshots.
Democratically elects we're all ants in a democratic system, and we elect a new queen every 3 or 4 weeks. So I am a democratic socialist ant, and actually one of our leaders was recently assassinated by an anteater. So who is a real person?
Is that really considered assassination? That's kind of nature, isn't it?
The anteater is a real person from another group where they democratically elect anteater leaders. So this is all happening.
Not to completely switch gears, but
Well, let's talk about something sad and serious.
Yeah, no, seriously though. I obviously, unless you're under a rock, you know that George Floyd was murdered, and there's a huge movement going on, not only just in the United States but around the world. So I feel like it's my duty almost to kind of speak up on that. I'm only going to say a few words because honestly, this is a complicated situation and there's a lot of layers to it. But I at least want to say that, I hope that you stand with the Black Lives Matter movement. I know I do. I'm sure you saw my shirt. It compelled me to make a shirt this week.
It's an awesome shirt, by the way.
Thank you, Justin. But yeah, I just feel like I'm only half black, but I'm still part of the black community, right? If I went out to like a city in Minneapolis, I would be scared if I got pulled over by the police, So I can't say that that's what it's like here in New Mexico. Thank God we're a little bit more progressive in that regard, but there's millions of Americans, people of color that look just like me, that aren't in that situation. And so, people are fed up with it. That's why we have these protests going on. That's why we have some of these riots going on, which is also layered because a lot of that are, from what I've been reading up on, a lot of these are like anarchists that are not even part of the freaking movement, you know, that are causing some of these riots. But regardless, what I was telling Lucas this week, I don't necessarily condone the violence that's going on, but I definitely don't condemn it either, because I understand where these people are coming from.
You understand the anger, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, well, and I mean, honestly, like, we're talking years, decades, generations worth of anger here. That's just
and of nothing changing. This being the
Right.
exact same thing that
Mm-hmm.
we experienced in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s.
I was gonna say, just a few years ago, we had the same thing happen. So, I mean, like seriously, like this is be on the right side of history, people.
And if I could add my 2 cents here, because, you know, Eugene, as a person of color, I think has the most to contribute to this conversation, which is why we kind of let him lead this introduction. You know, obviously this affects Justin and I differently, but we're all human.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we both think that what we saw was horrific, right? And
Yeah,
completely
absolutely.
unacceptable for what is supposed to be a civilized culture. Where I feel right now like we're living in like a third world nation. Like not to get political, but the president is literally clearing out crowds of peaceful protesters with tear gas so he can do a Bible photo shoot, right? Like it's proto-fascism. But through all of this, one positive thing that I'm very thankful for, in addition to having 2 parents who are incredibly open-minded and able to discuss all of this with and get all of that out, I also have a friend in Eugene.
Mm-hmm.
And me being a white man and Eugene being a black man, being able to talk about it together and share our opinions,
Mm-hmm.
where we agree, where we disagree, and have a dialogue. And, you know, Eugene, I've seen how much it's affected you. And, you know, I feel just awful about that. But I'm very thankful that I know you and that we can kind of communicate together through this thing.
Yeah, no, definitely. And that's meant the world to me. I gotta say, like, a lot of my friends actually have reached out and just to like ask, hey, are you okay? Or hey, I just need to talk about like what's going on, you know, like do you have a moment type of thing. And that's if I were to put a closing statement on this, for me, it would be listen to your friends, family members that are not just black but people of color, you know, because yes, like right now the focus is Black Lives Matters, you know, absolutely, I say that absolutely, but like, you know, there's Muslims and sheiks and, you know, people who just don't look like, you know, what people would say an American, and they're seeing a lot of this same discrimination.
My dad is a white Italian. He's Italian and English, but he's got a big black beard. He's got that dark Mediterranean skin, and he has had people make comments. One time he went to the bank and he had walked there and he was a little out of breath, and they were questioning why this guy who looked he looks kind of Middle Eastern, and they were questioning why he was in the bank and what he was doing there and why he was out of breath. Yep. Like he's you know, he's definitely white, but he's still the kind of person that looks intimidating enough that he could be in trouble in the wrong situation.
Definitely.
Pulled over in a city where a guy just happened to hate, even though he's not Middle Eastern, where you know, if they just happen to not like Middle Eastern people, they could see him, and instead of thinking he's Italian, they could think that he's, you know, and yeah. So I you know, I'll never say that I totally understand your point of view, because it's uniquely you and it's not something that I've personally experienced, but I can definitely empathize. And,
sure.
You know, I hope you know that, you know, we love you, man, and we're going to be here with you this whole time. So
yeah, definitely.
And I mean, and I guess to close out my end of it, I've seen a couple people on social media say this, and I think it really sums up the Black Lives Matters movement. Is, you know, people like to counter with all lives matter, thinking that that's perfectly innocently thinking that's a good thing.
It sounds innocent, right?
Right.
But in the context, it's harmful.
Right. You, number one, you are reducing the power that the movement has by basically saying, you know, like they're saying
we're all
yeah,
having the same experience.
yeah, and
right
we're not.
now. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
And to mimic what I've seen a lot of people say on social media, until Black Lives Matter, all lives do not matter.
Yeah.
As long as anybody's life, Black lives, LGBT lives, you know, the Muslim lives, Asian lives, whatever, like as long as anybody's life is being oppressed systematically, then you cannot in good conscience say all lives matters. And that's what we're facing right now is there are groups of people right now, like I mentioned the LGBT community. This is Pride Month, and you're hearing nothing of it because that community who knows what oppression is stepping aside and saying this is yours right now. You know,
there's a global pandemic going on right now, and you're not hearing anything about it because of this. I mean, people are dying, not just as a result of everything that's going on, but because we have to mobilize and speak our minds. And like, I mean, the virus isn't going to stop. You know, that's still a major threat to people. If I could, as my final thing, just say, anybody that's listening to this or still listening to this at this point, first of all, thank you, but also please be safe. You know, please peacefully protest and do not put yourself in danger. Speak your mind and go out if you want to go out, or use your social media as a platform, or whatever you want to do. I'm a very quiet, personal person. I don't speak much about this thing, but I have very strong feelings. But be safe and don't hurt anyone, and wear a mask and socially distance, and please don't put yourself in harm's way over this, because it's very important. But you know, nothing is worth you dying over. You need to survive, and frankly, you need to be above, you know, everything, and be strong. And that's hard, but don't succumb, and don't go out and get sick over something like this. Like, take care of yourself. Definitely. And I know that sounds contradictory, because you know, I'm definitely not saying don't speak your mind, but be safe. You know, don't lose your life, because if you lose your life now, the next time
one less voice.
The next time we need you for something like this,
I would say that it's almost more important, at least for me, to like I had mentioned before, have those conversations with your loved ones, friends, that are people of color. But then number two, when you do see this frankly shitty behavior from your friends, family member, coworkers, even, speak out, because now is not the time to be silent about these issues any longer. You know, like, even if it's just like hey, like my coworker made a joke and said the N-word, like, tell them, nah, man, that's not okay. You know, like that, even if it's just something as small as that, that's what would make me happy during this movement.
And I'm sorry, I don't want to prolong this, but I do want to say it's okay to be wrong. Mm-hmm. And it's okay to have done something wrong and not know it until recently. Like, you know, like a few years ago, we had the Me Too movement in full swing. And like, I'll be honest, I used to be one of those guys who said the wrong things and did the wrong things and whatnot. And I'm older now, and I'm wiser now, and I know that those things are wrong. And it's okay to admit that you've made a racist joke, and you know, it's okay to admit that, you know, you've said, you know, those things that you're not supposed to say, but you know better now, and you're going to try harder to, because that's how we grow. That's how we learn, you know, like admit your mistakes and just improve yourself for everybody's benefit.
Yeah. Well said. All right.
This has been Infendo Radio episode 548.
Yes.
This has been the 80s TV show where Steve Urkel comes out and he takes off the glasses and he goes, "I'd like to talk to you all about gun violence." And
and thank you if you made it this far, you listened to what we had to say. If you if you disagree with what we had to say, talk to us. But maybe we can help to come to a common agreement or help you to change your mind if, like, honestly, like, you're one of these people on the other side of the fence, because I'm never going to be on that other side of the fence. I'll tell you what, but I want to help you to come to ours.
But something we haven't had in this country in a long time is the ability to talk to somebody who thinks differently.
I'll have that dialogue with you. Yeah, exactly.
You're probably the closest person I have to that, Eugene, because we come from two different political parties. But but I think we are pretty understanding of the areas that we differ. And really what you've come to find out about us, I think, in the time that we've spoken about serious things, is we're really not all that different at all. To the point where, like, I don't see us as being that opposed, but yeah, no, for sure, it's a thing. So please, let's be civil and let's have a conversation for once.
I mean, my father-in-law is a Trump supporting former corrections officer, but when you talk politics, especially economic politics, with him, he sounds very liberal. So you never it's like you never know where you're going to find that common ground with somebody, no matter how different your backgrounds and opinions are.
Right. So
once again, this has been Infendo Radio, episode 548. We love you all. Good night.
Good night.
Stay
Bye,